Logo's POW.
So the prospect of arcade conversions for the home computers was a mighty tempting thing, so much so that some companies decided not to go for the license and bring out a game that was really similar. Anyway, let's have a look at some of those now. Right, so this is Bombjack, the very popular coin-op from Tekken, and it was so popular, Elite Systems presented conversions to the home, and this is the Commodore 64 version of Bombjack in all its chunky glory. However, this is Bombo for the Commodore 64 from Rhino Software. Yes. Now, it's an absolute surprise here. It's this didn't get slapped with any sort of copyright thing as far as I'm aware. This made it to the shops in its current form. I mean, it's even got the where you can slow down your character by tapping the button to mean they descend further, and you collect the bombs, or in this case they look a bit more like barrels in a specific order as well, like that. Brilliant. And then on to the next stage. Oh crap. Now obviously, chunky as it is, it does not suffer from the main problem that the Commodore 64 version of Bombjack has, which is really shitty collision detection. This actually feels a lot more intuitive and fun to play, and you get squashed again, it's game over. Let's continue, shall we? And it's got different music for each level as well. Not particularly great version, but the effort has gone into this to make this a fairly worthwhile Bombjack clone. But like I say, how they got away with it is beyond me. Oh crap. Oh, we can get this? Yep, just about right. Onto stage 2 again. There's a lot going on the screen as well, and backgrounds are a bit confusing and a bit messy. And oh crap, that it's proving a lot harder on this second stage. I wonder if it actually goes as far as having the bonus things that give you invulnerability. Oh wow, I managed to fluke that. We're on to a stage with a castle in the background. But yeah, it is amazing, isn't it, that they managed to get this done in such a way which, I mean, we will come back to Elite Systems later on in the video, but it's a bit crazy that this got released without any problems. Maybe Elite Systems didn't have the license by the time this came out. We've wrapped around to the stage 1 background, but yeah, maybe Elite Systems didn't have the license when Bombo hit the shelves. Who knows? I know it was very close. But I think if you're going to play a Bombjack style game on your Commodore 64, it's going to be this over the official conversion, that's for sure. And that's something which I really think is indicative of, for a lot of times, what Commodore 64 arcade conversions were like. But yes, let's continue. We'll see what we've got next. Right, so this is Wonder Boy, the popular Sega coin-op. And very popular it was too, so much so that Activision optioned a conversion of it. And this is the Commodore 64 version of Wonder Boy, in all its chunky glory. And this is the Equalizer, which is a Gavin Rayburn game. And as you can see, graphically it looks a lot like Wonder Boy. I mean, these graphics are pretty much spot on for it, but it has a few gameplay differences. It is more of a run and gun than Wonder Boy is, but the collecting fruit and food to keep your vitality topped up is the same. But you tend to do a lot more shooting in this. What's that do? Oh, it's just a hanging blackberry. But the graphics on this, I would say, were arguably more accurate to the arcade game than Wonder Boy was. Oh, I don't know what happened there. And it's massively unforgiving, as a lot of early budget games were. But it really, it beggars belief, doesn't it? It really does look like Wonder Boy. It is absolutely bizarre how close it does actually look. Now, of course, Gavin Rayburn's been in the industry for absolutely donkey's years. Most notably sticking with Codemasters. First off with a lot of budget games, and then moving on to things ultimately which culminated in the more recent Dirty Colin games. Still going, still making games with his own company, Lighthouse, I think they're called. I don't know. Didn't do any research. But so good on him that he's still going, and he really cut his teeth here on Commodore 64 budget games. And this, to be honest, even though it's not an accurate conversion of Wonder Boy, it's a damn good game in its own right. And again, a massive surprise. Activision didn't have a shit fit about this. And again, I'm not entirely sure if Activision had the rights by the time this came out. Again, it was very, very close. Ah, and we're dead again. Oh crap, that was a really stupid mistake. And it's game over. Let's have a quick continue on this. Well, not continue, but we'll keep on playing. No faff, back into the action. I mean, those backgrounds and those snails, they look identical to the Wonder Boy ones. But yes, it's got none of the things like the skateboarding power-up or the eggs where you get stuff from. It literally is more of a run and gun than anything else. Absolutely curious how accurately, I keep on saying it, these graphics look better, closer to the arcade game than the official conversion did. What's going on here? I think something failed to load there, like a platform. Something important. I'm not entirely sure the vitality is going down on this. One thing I would say, the levels on the Commodore 64 version are really over very quickly compared to the arcade game, which is really bizarre. Ah, shit. I mean, if you paid $1.99 for this, you would probably be super happy about that. I mean, this was, as far as I recall, it was a budget game around that sort of price. I think it was Powerhouse, I think, that published it. I'm not sure. You've probably already seen the box art pop up on the screen with the publisher on it, I would imagine. Nothing again. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's some of those heart things which appear, but I don't know. But anyway, there we go. There's the Equalizer, and it is more of an equal to Wonder Boy than the official conversion was.
Helicopter, helicopter.
Right, so this is Commando, a popular coin-op from Capcom, and popular so much so that Elite Systems acquired the license to make home conversions, and this is the Commodore 64 version of Commando in all its chunky glory. And an amazing Rob Hubbard soundtrack aside, it was a bit lacking because it was missing like 6 levels or something. But anyway, it was something I really enjoyed playing. Meanwhile, this is Who Dares Wins from Alligator Software, written by Steve Evans. That's is that Captain America? I don't know. Anyway, and as you can see from the first look, it looks a hell of a lot like Commander. Now this one so far is the first one in the video to actually get taken off the shelves. Copies of this now do surface from time to time, and they are expensive because of that action which removed the copies from sale. It does play a lot slower than Commando, but there's a couple of quality of life improvements, like holding down fire buttons to fire grenades rather than reaching across for the spacebar. But yeah, Elite were not best pleased about this and managed to get Alligator Software to take it down. And in all fairness, I'd probably rather be playing the Commodore 64 version of Commando than this, without the rip-roaring Rob Hubbard soundtrack, and it seems a lot slower as well. It's just not the same. It's obviously very derivative of Commando, as you can tell. But there's a sting in the tail here, because Alligator Software weren't going to let all this go to waste. So what they did is they jiggered about with this and actually released Who Dares Wins 2, which had enough differences to mean that Elite Systems either didn't bother, didn't care, or thought it was different enough not to bother with. So let's have a quick look at Who Dares Wins 2. So exactly the same title screen, except with a 2 in the title. Now I went on the trainer and I accidentally started on the 2nd level because I went to skip the trainer and select the wrong level. But you can see it is almost the same game. I do believe the level layouts are now different. You know, I get balloons dropping you grenades now. But they haven't let anything go to waste here. It's still essentially the same game with some enhancements and not quite as much of a Commando rip-off as the first one, which is nice, I suppose, but I'd still rather be playing the Commodore 64 version of Commando over this, and I just fell in some water. Be nice if it had some in-game music. We're gonna get to this checkpoint. Oh god, there's people. How many people are in that little hut? There was like 12 people in there. I think it's still doing the same Commando thing as destroying as many all the bad guys at the end of an outpost. But yeah, there's more game to it, I'd imagine. There's more levels than the Commodore 64 version of Commando, but it is not as much fun. It's not as fast and fluid and happening. And you can blow these tanks up as well, which is sort of nice. Not nice if you're a tank, but ah shit, that tank just used a massive artillery shell to shoot me in the face. So yes, an interesting one that. Right, so this is Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers is a very popular home console game that appeared on a very popular home console. There was no Commodore 64 version of Super Mario Brothers because Nintendo wanted you to buy their home console. However, that didn't stop Rainbow Arts from releasing a game which they thought might save the European video game industry. And that game, of course, is the Great Giana Sisters, which quite famously got pulled from shop shelves after Nintendo took, so we say, objection to it existing. I was lucky enough to actually buy a copy of this back in the day, and I still have it. I do not have 2 copies of it, Rob, but yes, it is surprising Yes, as you can already see, this has yeah, Super Mario Brothers written all over it, and I'm just as bad at this as I am at Super Mario Brothers. But I played this before Super Mario Brothers, because it's got a Zap 64 gold medal, I believe, and when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's a nice thing, I think I'll buy that. And I don't think I played Super Mario Brothers until, whoa, probably around about 10 years later. I didn't get a Nintendo, well, a NES, until about 1999. But levels are over a lot quicker, that's for sure. Now, I wonder if we can do the same thing this as we did. Actually, you can do on Super Mario Brothers. Yes, you can, because it's a complete rip. Skip the entire stage by running along the top. No dash button in this, like there is in Super Mario Brothers, but can't go any further than that, though. Oh well, that's fine. But yes, Rainbow Arts were no stranger to this sort of tomfoolery, especially considering they, as previously covered in the channel, made a little game called Catechist, which pissed Activision off because of its similarity to R-Type. You would have thought maybe they would have learned, but no, they didn't. And of course, I've covered Catechist before. Oh. Double lasery things. Oh, how am I going to get over that? Badly, that's the answer. I did get really far in this before, but nowadays my muscle memory is broken because I'm expecting to press a button to jump, and that doesn't exist on the Commodore 64 unless you're fiddling with the emulator and you map up to jump. Right. There we go, that's more like it. I think you've got to be a lot more precise with your jumping on this than you have in Super Mario Brothers, but I think that's the way things go. Oh, it's the boss stage. I think we'll probably find our... Oh, shit. I was going to say probably find our princesses in another castle, maybe, but I don't think that's going to be the case because I'm not even going to get to the boss of the stage at this rate. Can I jump on this eyeball? Let's find out. Yes, we can, but it's going to come back to life. Oh, seriously, get up there. Thank you. There we go, managed it. Shit. So, yes, there we go. Great Giana sisters. But hey, let's have some sort of bonus games.
Welcome to bonus day.
Right, so no real title screen. This is Penetrator. So, let's get this started. As you can see, this is Scramble. I haven't even bothered with the intro bit with the other games, so we're just going to do Scramble. So this is probably the least Scramble-like Scramble game that ever scrambled on the Commodore 64. It is a rip-off of Scramble. You've got the bombs, you've got the constant scrolling and not being able to go straight to the front of the screen. If you do, you just go a little bit faster. However, as with Donkey Kong and Space Invaders and so many other classic coin-ops, early in the home computer's reign over the land, there were many copies. Let's have a look at some more right now. So there we go. Some games for the Commodore 64 which really skirted and sometimes fell foul of copyright laws and injunctions and other such things. But what did you think of them? Have you got any to suggest as well? If so, comment below.
Yeah, subscribe or naff off.